long wait. We are back at it again. James Connolly is joining me. We have so much to discuss. Um, we're not going to get it all, but we've missed out on a bunch. But we're gonna keep it pretty not light, but we're gonna keep it pretty recent. So, what's going on? First of all, what's going on with you? We've been trying to do this for a few weeks now.
Just working, man. Literally, not much. It was pretty dead until training camp started. To be honest with you,
Well, I mean, we could have podcasted over the Julio Jones being traded. We could have done a few things. We were gonna podcast before Aaron Rodgers showed up, basically to speculate
Yeah.
what we thought. I know you had some thoughts. You even said I'm going to shit on Rodgers if we do podcast, and we never got around to it.
Yeah.
Believe me, though, I wanted to hear those thoughts, which I'm sure we're going to get into here in a bit, because I think that's the top story in the last couple of weeks is Aaron Rodgers showing up for training camp, which I'm not that surprised. I mean, I'm not really that surprised at all.
I don't blame you. I mean, he really had no leverage in the situation. You were right, really, the entire time as far as that goes. I mean, I think the Packers were willing to let him sit or retire if that's what he was willing to do. And I don't think that they knew that he wasn't really since.
I mean, there comes a point like you get sick of the game, but Rodgers is still in the heat of the game.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
So if he was close to retiring, I think he would have done it. And the competitor in him just didn't want to do it.
I agree.
So let's talk about that. You had some thoughts, though. Did you watch the press conference?
I did, and I appreciated like his honesty, but it's just the melodramatics, dude, are just so old at this point. He's so just like passive aggressive. At the end, he's with the Packers. Nothing's really changed at all. It was just like he just wanted to be attention.
He just wanted to be heard.
All season.
Which I don't know whether or not. I mean, only a handful of people know whether or not he truly is heard.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even saying that he didn't make good points. I just felt
no, he made good points.
The way that he went about it, it was just like, dude, if you had like a problem, then just come out and say it. Like
the whole thing, I was on his side on it at first, but after listening to John Middlecoff, I have since shifted.
Yeah.
Was the whole like he wanted Green Bay to like be better about dealing with players who are on their way out.
It's like, dude, you're not.
And like to Middlecoff's point, like this is an emotionless business. Like when you cut someone, you don't want emotion. Hey man, you've been great, thanks, but we're moving on. Mm-hmm. Like that. That is the extent of it every single time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't get what he wants there because that's not changing, and it's like that in every organization.
Like, my only problem with the entire thing was that I feel like he still didn't give like a direct hit
no,
answer
not really.
exactly why he was pissed. And it's just like, man, like if you're gonna be that pissed and threaten like request a trade or not request a trade or like low key threaten to retire or not, it's like, dude, what do you want? We can at least try to work with you here a little bit. And I just feel like he just. Like you said, he just wanted to be heard, and that's really all that it was. But it was just like, why was it this bad then? Why couldn't you just come out and be like, listen, I'm a Packer. I'm just a little, thinking about some things. Like the stuff he always says, like, I don't know what my future looks like. He could have came out and said all those things.
At least it wasn't that. I was so set on the press conference being, it was blown out of proportion. It's my future's a beautiful mystery. So vague, and he really just put his balls on the table and said, "Look, this is basically what happened." And I respected it. I didn't like everything he had to hear, but I respected it.
I did.
I wish more athletes would just be honest and upfront. Hey, I'm upset. And I'm sure some of that, he may have made that a big deal, like about how Green Bay treats its players that they know are on the way out or whatever. But I'm sure it's mostly pertaining to him. They know the organization is likely moving on from him. If not this year, it's going to be the year after.
Yeah.
And he's probably just thinking, look, if you're going to move on already. Like, he's probably frustrated because they're not using him as an asset. That's the only part of it. Not the only part, but the biggest part of it for me where I side with him. Like, if Green Bay is not using him as an asset to acquire free agents and trades, whatever, that's unbelievable. That's really bad.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and if that's the case, and he feels he doesn't have a voice, I don't really blame him for saying, look, let's move on already.
But also, I'm going to give you another Middlecoff point. Love that dude. He's awesome. But he basically said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson this offseason. He's just like, guys, like you're in the playoffs every year. You're not.
I heard Matt Miller say it best. You're complaining about first class problems.
Yeah. Listen, you're of a handful of teams in the league that are competitive every single year. Like, that's as good as you're going to get, especially when you take the max amount of money you can get. Like, they built the best team around you possible. You went to 2 straight NFC championships. I'd say you have a top 5 roster in the NFL. If it's not top 5, it's like 6 or 7, which I think it's top 5, but it's right there.
I was going to say top 10. I mean, just to be conservative.
I kind of understand where, like, you and I have another, like, diehard Packers fan, Buddy Neal, and he's just like, dude, like, we put a good team around him. Like, what do you mean? We have Tay Adams. Like, just because we didn't pick him in the first round. Aaron Jones we signed to. He always has a great O-line. Like, what is he really complaining about? Like, I mean, I get it. Maybe the defense could be better, but you can't really make the defense as good as it can be when you're making
and that's the thing. They use up their draft capital to help the defense just about all the time.
Yeah. And then apparently also that was a complaint. It's like, what do you?
I don't know whether or not that was a complaint or not. Maybe among people in the media, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Maybe it was a media driven.
He never mentioned that. I mean, there were a few things probably he did not touch up on that was the case. But we, like you said, we really still don't really know what his issue is. Yeah. If you want a voice, like that seems very fixable if you can have a voice. But he kept one thing he mentioned, and I'm glad a reporter in the room caught on. He mentioned how he was mad that Green Bay chose to move on from some guys. And some of the names he mentioned, I think Green Bay should have probably brought back. Like he mentioned Julius Peppers, Charles Woodson, a few other guys. I don't think he mentioned Corey Linsley or not, but he mentioned a few. But then he also mentioned like Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, and a few other guys, which we can get into Randall Cobb in a bit. But there were some other guys, I can't remember who. And as someone in the press conference was like, Aaron, almost all of those guys you mentioned after they left Green Bay took a serious nosedive.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like, well, you don't know what they would have been like here with me, you know? And I was like, dude, come on, just say you don't have an eye for personnel.
Yeah, I mean, most players don't. That's why they're, not everyone's a good personnel guy.
And I'm not saying he's bad at personnel. Yeah. There's some truth to what he's saying. You don't know what would have happened, which is fair. But, like, Jordy Nelson was done, man. He retired, like, not a year after playing with Rodgers.
I agree.
Randall Cobb, though, we'll see. I mean, we'll see this year, and that's kind of a segue into it. He's still playing fairly well.
No, Randall Cobb sucks.
He doesn't suck.
Come on, Randall Cobb isn't that good.
No, I'm not. Believe me, dude, I'm not sitting here saying he's a great player by any means.
Is he going to play the slot?
Yeah, probably. He's probably going to start.
Number 2. Is it going to be MVS? Number 2?
Well, I mean, they don't really, other than Amari Rodgers, who's a rookie, they don't really have a slot guy. That was their biggest need, I think, at receiver.
Okay.
And if that's his role, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, he's a good slot receiver.
No, it's still going to be the same trio. It's going to be Adams, MVS, Lazard. Cobb is kind of that fourth. I mean, that's kind of what it's going to be. And then there are quite a few guys after that who. I mean, it feels like every single day I pay attention to training camp headlines. They're saying it's a new receiver every day breaking out and showing some stuff.
That's good.
So it's to the point where I've heard some people say, like, there are 8 to 10 guys on this receiving core who are probably going to make a 53-man roster, and not all of them are going to be in Green Bay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay.
So we'll see. I think they're going to take at least 6 receivers, probably 7, and I think there's going to be Devin Funchess is another one. He's going to be in the mix too. They signed him last year. He opted out because of COVID. He's in the mix. So we'll see. I think there's more to the Randall Cobb stuff.
At least you can look forward to a good season.
Well, I want to touch up on this. I think there's more to the Randall Cobb stuff. Like, I really do think Green Bay didn't want to add him, but they did it to please Aaron. And then at the same time, they were like, he probably helps us in more ways than just on the field.
Yeah.
He will probably tell him, one, he's a good locker room presence. 2, he can probably get in Aaron's ear and say, look, dude, you have it pretty good here. I've been to Dallas. I've been to Houston. You got it pretty damn good here.
It's true. That's true.
So let's talk about your Eagles. You touched up on your Eagles a little bit. You're not looking forward to it?
What do you mean?
You're not looking forward to the season?
No, of course I am. If the Eagles were going 0-17, I'd still be looking forward to the season. It's like
Oh, I thought you said, of course not, as in I'm
Oh.
not looking forward to the season.
Oh no, I'm so looking forward to the season. I can't wait. Deshaun Watson's going to be an Eagle at some point, right? I mean,
So I sent you that tweet from someone with a blue check mark. Granted, a lot of people were have been tweeting shit specifically about Aaron Rodgers.
This has been going on for like 4 months straight.
Is it really? I haven't really heard anything other than the last couple weeks.
Oh my god, bro! It's like all over the place. It's been going on for months and months and months. Like dead serious. Deshaun Watson to the Eagles. I mean, because they have all the capital and we don't have a quarterback. I mean, like I like Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts can be good, but I don't think he'll ever beat Deshaun Watson. If you can get him for like 2 firsts while we have 2 firsts just in one draft, like just get him.
Don't they have more than that? Didn't they pick up another first?
If Carson Wentz plays
that's right.
70% of the snaps, but
that's not looking like it right now.
But it's still possible. If he comes back like week 4 or something.
Well, it is what like they said 5 weeks. I mean, 5 weeks is week 1. Roughly.
Well, they said
that's at a minimum.
Which means it's probably going to be like 8 or 9 minimum. So if it's around 8 or 9, he should.
8 or 9 is probably still within that 75% threshold.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see. It is what it is.
There was other big news. Have you seen this news about Zach Wilson like being the 5th guy at Jets training camp? I've seen some rumors about that he's like not getting snaps with the ones. He's like way down the depth chart.
Why?
I don't know.
He might just not be ready.
I'll see it. I mean, it might have changed. It's been like a week since I've seen that, but
I mean, I doubt he went from 5 to 1. You know what I mean? He's definitely lagging behind for some reason. I wonder why.
I mean, he's probably just that far behind. I guess I don't know. Or they could. I mean, I think some coaches do this. Like, I'm not going to play the rookie.
Yeah.
And I really do believe some coaches do that.
I mean, who's their backup right now?
Is it not Joe Flacco?
No, he's on the Eagles.
Is he on the Eagles? That's right.
Yeah.
I knew he was somewhere in the Northeast.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
I don't know. Some coaches are just very old school. I'm not going to put the rookie in the first spot. They're going to have to earn it.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And
fair.
Robert Saleh, defensive-minded coach. Most defensive-minded coaches are old school guys. I mean, it could be possible, but I think it's unlikely. Maybe he's just that far behind. I guess.
That's probably what it is. I mean, I think everyone agreed it even before the draft. He wasn't necessarily NFL ready.
No, I didn't think he was either. But I thought he had some upside. But
yeah, agreed.
What else we got going on? There's something else that I'm forgetting about.
I mean, training camp started.
We already touched up on Carson Wentz a little bit, and for me, that's a big injury, and I know it's a big injury for your Eagles as well because they have that first round pick potentially. But I have gone from the Colts being like a playoff team of mine to now I struggle to see them getting in now if he's out for 2 months, which is what it seems like it's gonna be.
I agree. I'm just glad he's not one of the Eagles anymore, man. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that bullshit anymore. Honestly,
I think I've seen you tweet out some stuff of anti-Carson. No, I know I texted you the day he got hurt, and I said, "What's going on with Carson Wentz?" And you were like, "Dude, fuck that man, fuck that dude."
Dude, I mean, but people have said it perfectly. Like, the Eagles won the trade no matter what. Like, if he ends up being a first-round pick because he plays 75% of that's a W. And it's like, dude, if he doesn't end up playing 75% of the snaps, then that's just, that's another year injured. Whatever. We got a second and a third for him. Let it go. I'm cool with it.
I mean, he's off your roster. If he plays great, you get a first-round pick. If not, I mean, he's still off your roster. You get a bonus pick later.
And next year, all the dead money's gone. So it's like, who cares? Like,
I agree. I know who I wanted to talk about. Have you seen this Michael Thomas stuff?
Yeah, I hate Michael Thomas. I've just never been a fan, ever.
Never?
Even before he was acting like this, just not a fan. I just don't like him at all.
I just don't.
He has the worst voice in the NFL.
He's what?
Have you ever heard him talk?
No.
Worst voice in the NFL. Sounds like a woman. Go listen to him talk.
Really?
I swear to you.
I haven't heard that.
It's so weird.
But why are you getting surgery right at training camp?
He did that on purpose. That wasn't like.
Why? You had all off season.
That's why he did it. I mean, I think he's trying to stick it to the Saints, but I think this is
for what? They paid him.
That's what I'm saying. Where it's like, what's your beef, dude? Like, I swear these people just want attention.
I think so too.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
Oh, Rodgers is upset. I should be upset then for whatever reason, for some minor reason.
Yeah.
So I've seen like he's probably going to be out for a while. I've seen other stuff about the Saints that they have a lot of guys hurt. Like
Yeah.
I think kicker's hurt. Number 1 and 2 receiver are hurt. Number 2 corner might be hurt. I don't remember what all it was. It was a few weeks ago. And I just saw that. I was like, man, so it sounds like Packers Saints week 1 is going to be a W for the Packers.
Yeah, no, that should be a W, dude. You're playing Jameis and a beat up squad.
I was when they announced that as week 1. This was, I think it was after the Aaron Rodgers stuff broke, and I said, well, I'm looking forward to watching Jordan Love and Jameis.
Luckily, that's not going to be the case because Jordan Love sucks. Sorry, buddy.
I don't give a shit.
You will next year.
If we suck, we'll get another guy.
True.
Who may or may not be good. I don't know. I mean, I think that some people have overreacted a little bit, and so have I. But I was tweeting all that stuff on Saturday night on purpose for family night when he went out there. It was funny, and I somewhat mean it. I somewhat don't. I'm not looking into it too much, but it's just fun to see him be better. He's gotten a lot better.
Football in general, like I want to see him play football so I can actually evaluate him.
It's fun to. I mean, last year everyone dropped him like a bad habit after so much leading up to the draft about, oh, watch out for this dude. He could be really good, and then he doesn't play. He doesn't make or he's put on the practice squad. And then everyone's like, oh, he's terrible. He sucks. Whatever. And then now, going into year 2, he looks like a completely different player. I'm just saying, watch out here.
We'll see.
I've heard Green Bay fans who watched Rodgers develop say he is probably better now than Rodgers was in year 2. Mm-hmm. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I'm aware of that. Mm-hmm. But that's not for nothing.
It's a little steep.
That's what they think. It's close. I mean, it's about the same. Their development's about the same right now.
That's fair.
That's all I mean. Even I'm not expecting him to be a Hall of Famer, man. I'm not. Just be average. Just be okay. Be in the league for a decade.
That's the worst sport. That's the worst spot to be in the world. Though.
No, I'm just cheering for him, man. I don't care.
You don't want to be in that spot.
I don't care.
You don't want to just be average and just go
dude, I just want him in the league for a while.
I mean,
because then that's a career. Like, how can you say he sucks? Sure, he was picked in the first round, but he played in the league for a decade. It's like saying Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's not that good. But does he suck? No, he's been in the league for over a decade.
That's a bad example. Joe Flacco.
True, he also has won a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl. But there are a lot of guys like that. How can you say he sucks? He's been in the league for over a decade.
Sam Bradford.
Sam Bradford wasn't that bad.
That's what I'm saying.
He was okay.
He was in the league for a decade.
Like, well, I mean, granted he was picked number 1 overall. Did he live up to that height? No, but he was still in the league for over a decade and played well at times.
Yeah. No, he did. He played well at times.
So that's just my point. That's a dumb argument to make, but...
No, you're right.
What else can we talk about?
No, I just can't wait for football to start so we actually do.
When's Philly's first preseason game?
Thursday.
Green Bay's is on Saturday. I don't know if it's on TV or not. I really want to watch because I know Rodgers isn't going to play.
Oh, I really want to watch. I hope I can watch. Yeah, Rodgers isn't going to play at all.
He's not going to play.
It's going to be a lot of Jordan Love. That's why I want to.
And Kurt Benkert, who's the real heir apparent.
Who?
Kurt Benkert. He's the number 3 quarterback.
Give me a fucking break, man.
I just like the guy.
You gotta have a name, like a quarterback name, and that is just not it.
You don't think Kurt Benkert is a...
Dude, that sounds like an accountant.
Kurt Benkert doesn't sound like an accountant.
It does.
He sounds like a terrorist.
No, it doesn't. It don't sound like a quarterback.
Well, his name, it doesn't rhyme. I'm trying to think of the other... but it's almost the exact same. Kurt Benkert.
That's trash.
That's like Sirhan, the guy who shot Bobby Kennedy.
No, dude, just doesn't work. He's destined to fail. He's going to go play in the USFL.
XFL, USFL. Well, no, it is coming back, I think. Yeah. I forgot about that.
The USFL is actually sick.
It was way back in the day. Then they claimed Donald Trump ruined it.
Yeah.
Did he? I don't know the whole story. Did he buy a team or did he try to buy the league?
I don't know. I think he wanted to buy it. I think he wanted to buy a team or something. I don't know though. I honestly have no idea.
Well, look, I'm not. I just like Kurt Benkert. He's a long-haired third-string quarterback. It's just hard not to root for the guy.
Just there for the babes.
He's just there, like a typical third-string quarterback. He's funny on Twitter. He knows like he's probably not making the roster. Like the way he talks, he's just fun, man. He's just fun to. I followed him. I was like, this dude ain't gonna make the roster, and then he goes out there, and apparently it's looked all right. Yeah. So I'm like, well, shit, maybe I do need to give this dude a follow. And then he talks about how much he loves Green Bay and Lambeau. So it's just fun.
Your boy Nick Mullins is lighting up Eagles camp.
Is that where he is now?
Yeah.
Nick Mullins. Have I mentioned? I think I've mentioned it on the podcast that he's from my hometown.
Yeah. He's probably going to beat out Flacco for second string right now.
You think? I mean, he's an okay backup.
He has a pretty good arm. I just think he sucks like shoulders up.
He's not that good. He's all right for a backup.
Yeah. For a backup.
I remember my best friend in high school almost killing him.
I know, you told me that.
We were seniors. He was the sophomore. And that year, Spain Park is the high school. Had gone through a wild year. Like they were supposed to be terrible. They fired their coach week 2 for hitting a player. And like they had a starter. We played them week 2 and we beat them like 44-0. And then they made a quarterback change, new head coach, interim head coach. They kind of got hot late, met us again in the second round, and played a tougher game. But that Nick Mullins was the quarterback, obviously, the quarterback change. And, dude, I'm surprised, like, he ever played again. My best friend lived in the backfield all night. My friend Tyler just lived in his backfield all night. And there was one, like, I've shown you the picture, right?
Yeah.
So we could see that coming a mile away. Like, I remember watching it on the field, and he hiked the ball. Left tackle had no regard for my best friend, who was like an all-state player, went on to play FBS football at Troy, like, did not even bother to block him. And I remember us all saying, oh, shit. And my best friend came in, whoo, just, like, didn't hit him hard, you know what I mean? But, like,
clean, though.
Just took him down like a bear taking down an elk. Like, it wasn't a hard hit, but just took him down like an elk and swallowed him. Ball goes flying up in the air. My other friend Taylor, who has been on the podcast, like, gets rid of a guy just in time. Ball pops in his lap. He runs it in for a touchdown.
That's sweet. That's super sweet.
So I love telling that story because now that dude is in the NFL making, it's got to be $1 million, maybe more.
Who's he with?
Mullins. That's who I'm talking about. He's got to be making about $1 million, maybe more.
Maybe even a little more.
Yeah, I mean that's the life of a backup quarterback. You don't do anything, and you still make a few million.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. You can play for like 15 years too.
One of the guys at Hoover, John Parker Wilson, who played at Alabama, bounced around the NFL as a backup for years. Made like 6 figures a year on the practice squad, doing nothing.
Yeah, playing football, going and tossing the football, knowing the playbook. That ass.
He was in it for, I think he was in the league about 4 or 5 years, making almost $1 million.
And then just go coach football.
I don't know if he's coaching or not. I don't know what he's doing.
That's what I would do.
He's doing something. I think he was a college graduate.
Be sick.
Have you seen the story about the Colorado Rockies?
Dinger?
Yeah, Dinger.
Yeah.
So I texted that to my friend Steven, and he was kind of like, how do you confuse that word with the N word? What do you think? Because I can see that.
It's like the same mouth shape. You know what
in
I'm
a
saying?
loud stadium, I'm sure a loud stadium, probably 20-some feet away where the fans were yelling it.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, I could too.
I mean,
It's
shit.
just
Do you
funny.
remember working at Chick-fil-A? I always thought when people said James for whatever reason, they were saying Shane.
Yeah.
Because it kind of, I don't know why, it just made me think that.
When it's like in a loud room, it can sound the same.
Yeah. I can't explain it, but I could see it.
Yeah. I think it's funny that Sports Talk Barry posted it, and he always gets like.
Do you follow him?
Yeah, actual blue checks to like retweet.
I can't believe the amount of people who believe him.
Dude, they do it because they don't look like they just see the AV that's like Sports Center, and they're like, "Oh shit."
Oh, I learned that at a very young age.
No,
I learned that at like 20 years old.
I think I got caught like one time, like 5 years ago, and it never happened again.
Have you, since then, like, we don't really fall for it now, but have you almost fallen for it?
Oh, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
So have I. I always check the app first.
Yeah,
usually.
That's what I'm saying. If I see some, like, outrageous news, I check the app, or, like, the app.
Like, I've seen one. There was one a while ago. It might have been Deshaun Watson. It might have been Packers related. I don't know. Maybe something with Aaron Rodgers. And it wasn't outlandish, but it was just believable enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. Then, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
And then I always tweet, if they almost get me, I always tweet the gif of Joey and Friends saying, like, you almost had me. So, I love Barry McCockiner.
He's crazy, bro.
You can't like his Tom Brady takes, though.
Oh, I hate it. I mean, they're just simply wrong. That's the craziest part.
Let's not go down
like,
that
oh,
road.
In 2012, when Tom Brady made the AFC Championship game, his defense was like 8th DVOA in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers was 17th. And it's like, dude, what are you even talking about? Shut the fuck up. Like, you sound like an idiot right now. Like, if you're going to hate on Tom Brady, you sound like an idiot. There's no way you can. So, he loves LeBron, too.
Yeah, he does love LeBron. I find that odd.
I'm a big LeBron guy. I don't hate LeBron. I'm just not.
Have you watched the new Space Jam?
I did. It was good.
Was it? I heard it was terrible.
No, it was good.
I'm not going to see Space Jam. There's one Space Jam in my mind.
I just watched it on HBO Max.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
See it in the theaters. It was good.
I saw, though, that it's not performing. Maybe that's what I saw. It wasn't performing well at the box office.
Probably because people were watching at home.
True. But I saw LeBron say something like, they're not going to watch it because of, like, systemic racism or something like that. And I responded, didn't Black Panther make like $1 billion?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people didn't like Space Jam because it wasn't the original. I think they just did like a good, like, unique twist on the original. Honestly, they modernized it really well without making it weird. Like, I thought it was
So
good.
I've heard it's not a sequel.
No, it's definitely not a sequel. It's like its own standalone thing.
So the Looney Tunes are just fighting for
it's not
playing basketball?
Just Looney Tunes. So, like, they go into, like a multiverse. It's kind of like the internet. Like, they're inside of the internet, and it's every character ever. Like, Pennywise is in it. The Iron Giant's in it. King Kong's in it. Like, a bunch of these people from Game of Thrones are in it. Like,
who from Game of Thrones is in it?
He goes to a Game of Thrones world for a second in the, like, and dude, watch it. Like, it's like an hour and a half. Like, it's a good movie. You should check it out. I know you have HBO Max. You should be watching.
How do you know?
You watched Game of Thrones and shit.
Not on HBO Max. I watched that on HBO Now.
So you do have HBO Max.
I do have HBO Max.
It was the wrong reason. I was correct. But I was still correct.
But I do have HBO. That's how I'm watching The West Wing right now.
Oh, God. That sounds boring. I'm sorry.
It's not boring.
Have you seen The Wire?
No, I have not. I need to.
You should watch The Wire. It's very good.
I've heard not mixed reviews, but I've heard some people say that, like, they don't disagree that it's good. The people that I've heard don't think it's up there with some of the other greatest shows of all time.
It's definitely in...
Like, the height of it, like, some episodes, yes, but overall, no.
I disagree. I don't think it has, like, a bunch of, like, really good episodes like Breaking Bad. I think it's more of just, like, a really good, solid show the whole time. I mean, I could see how somebody wouldn't have it as, like, their favorite show ever, but, I mean, it's in my top 3 for sure.
Okay. Well, that's just, they say, you know, it's great, But to compare it to like Breaking Bad or even Game of Thrones,
No, I think I think you could realistically, because of the ending of Game of Thrones, put it right there with Game of Thrones. Game of
because of
Thrones
the
went
ending.
from like my number one show ever to literally like my number like 6 or 7 show. I'm not even kidding.
Well, I don't disagree. It's still my all-time favorite, but
I still fucking love it. I mean, obviously.
I
If
like
you wanna
to
know
imagine the
what's
last 2
actually
seasons.
an amazing show that I thought was going to be trash, but like my girlfriend made me watch it, is Outer Banks. I don't know if we
Dude,
talked about that.
holy shit.
I
That
love
show.
It's awesome.
I hate how much I like that show.
Same, like I was like, dude, like Outer Banks, like why is it even called Outer Banks? This shit is gonna be
The
trash.
Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Dude, my girlfriend and I watched it in literally 5 days, like all 2 seasons.
Dude, that show, and I've said this before to people, it is the most ridiculous, outlandish, non-believable show. Like, doesn't make sense. It's over dramatic. Like, everything you could possibly say about a show. But yet you're still watching it and you still want to watch more.
Yeah, it's so good. I can't even lie. Like it was,
I don't even think it's good. There are moments in there where I'm like, good God, this is terrible. But I can't stop watching it.
I did think the first season was a little better than the second, but overall, like let me put it this way:
the second season got worse in terms of believability.
Exactly. But like the way I described it is like it's not even close to one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
Even, in the top 100, but it's like literally top 5 most entertaining shows.
Like I binged season 2. When did it come out?
I was overly
almost 2 weeks ago.
by that show.
I watched season 2, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, why do I like this show?
Because Sarah Cameron's hot.
Well, I think the other girl's hot too.
She is also hot, but she's not like Sarah Cameron's bad.
But like, yeah, the women are fine, and I do love the Outer Banks. My family vacations there almost every year. So that's mostly the reason why I watch it.
Yeah, but it's good.
Are you on the side of kooks or pogues?
Oh, definitely a pogue guy. I mean,
fuck the pogues, man.
Why?
The kooks are way better.
Nah, they're fucking annoying. You see their haircuts?
So, I like good hair.
Yeah, they do have good hair.
I like great hair. They have fun. They party. But
yeah,
I don't care for the drug use, but that's fair. Pogues, they're poor. They're white trash.
I mean, so is like my whole family.
So is my family. Hence why I go to the kooks. That's the life I want.
That's true.
Just living in a giant ass $1 million home in paradise on earth. Puppy dog. That's so funny you mentioned Outer Banks. Oh my God, I hate that I like the Outer Banks. Every guy, friend of mine that I talk to, has said the exact same thing. The show is awful, but I like it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get artists to watch it.
I don't know if he'd like it. He probably would like it, but he'd have the same opinion.
Yeah, no, agreed. I agree. He's going to say it sucks, but he finished the whole thing. That's what he's going to say.
So let's wrap this up with more football. We're not doing predictions yet. But where are you leaning right now?
For Super Bowl?
Yeah. It's hard not to go Chiefs-Bucks. But I don't think it will be, honestly.
No, it won't be. It won't be. I think honestly, I do have to go Chiefs-Bucks, but I'm going to tell you 2 teams on each side that could also be there very easily. Obviously, the Bills.
Yeah.
I think the Bills do have the team to beat the Chiefs on a given Sunday.
Depends on their pass rush. If their pass rush is better, I definitely think they can.
I agree. And, they can also just, like, I feel like, anyway, yeah, and then the NFC, I really think the Rams have a shot if they don't lose any of their top talent. Like, I think they have a shot. Because the Bucs obviously have the roster, man, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm like the big Tom Brady guy, but like I don't think he has that in him again this season.
The thing I'm going to say about the Bucs is their culture was so much different than New England. New England really was a factory of we're going to win the Super Bowl. then
then
like
go right
we're gonna
back
go
to it.
right into the offseason mode and prepare for next year. The Bucks have a I don't know what you would call it, culture of like not being over successful, having fun. I mean, you saw it in the Super Bowl parade. Tom Brady got drunk at the Super Bowl parade. I'm not judging him for it. I would too, but
I would normally totally agree, but that roster is just insane.
oh, I agree. Like they're still gonna be very good.
If they can maintain just like relative health, or just get healthy at the end of the season when it's like playoff time, like they are going to be a tough out. Like I can easily see them.
I think they'll be like the Chiefs. They'll still be really good. They'll still win a lot of games, but we're gonna sit here and say, or like the Chiefs of last year and say something's not the same.
They're not perfect. Yeah, exactly.
Something like we go into every year we're like that. The defending champs are perfect. No one's going to stop them. And then by week 12, I said it with the Chiefs. Something's not right here. I just don't see this team winning the Super Bowl.
There's been one repeat in the last like 25 years.
Yeah, New England.
Or 20 years at least. Like it was the Patriots like a long time ago, and then it was the Broncos before that. But like it doesn't happen often. I mean, it rarely does. But
the thing with the Rams, it's not that I disagree. I think the Rams are very good. But is it just me, or are we placing too much on Matt Stafford?
No, I disagree. I don't.
You don't think so?
Dude, it's an easy offense. It's easy strikes to good players. I mean, Dude, think about it.
Not so much Matt Stafford. Are we overstating what Sean McVay can do with him?
No. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Man, he had Jared Goff playing at an MVP level at some point, all the way to a Super Bowl. Like, I actually am of the camp that believes that Matt Stafford is actually a top 5 talent in the NFL. He's not a top 5 quarterback, but like, if you're just talking about a dude who can make plays and has an absolute fucking cannon, like outside of Mahomes and Josh Allen, like who has and Aaron Rodgers, who has a better arm? Nobody.
Did you say Mahomes? Yeah, you said Mahomes. Yeah, I don't know.
Mahomes, Rodgers, and Josh Allen. Nobody has a better arm than him in the entire league. So, like,
Jordan
I
Love.
think he's going to go there. He has a legit deep weapon. He has a good offensive line, has a stable of running backs. I think he has a great slot receiver.
Well, the run game, Cam Akers got hurt. Remember that.
True. They have Henderson, though, right?
True. But, yeah, Cam Akers got hurt. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like I'm in the camp that I'm not disagreeing. I got to see it first.
And I mean, honestly, I see the Packers probably being in that game, whether it's against the Bucs or the Rams. I think they're going to be right there.
And we'll lose in the NFC Championship again.
Like the Bills of the 90s.
Except it's not the Super Bowl. I'd rather lose in the Super Bowl 4 straight times, honestly.
No shot. No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Look, have you seen the 30 for 30 on that?
No.
It's really good.
I'm sure all 30 for 30. I've never seen a bad one. They're all good.
The 30 for 30 on that's really good because the takeaway with the Bills is, well, you never got over the hump, and their takeaway was, well, think of all the teams that get there and win and then don't go back.
Yeah.
Like Green Bay. Green Bay has never gone back with Aaron Rodgers, and they went 4 straight years. I mean, that's something.
Now, it is something. It's obviously impressive, but I'm just talking myself personally. I would rather win 1 Super Bowl.
No, for sure. I would rather win 1 than lose 4 straight years. Yeah. But, like, would I rather come up short in the NFC Championship 5 times or whatever in a decade?
What happened to the Eagles?
I'd rather probably lose in the Super Bowl 4 straight years.
It sucked, but believe me, I remember the Super Bowl loss a billion times more than all the rest of those combined. I promise you.
I guess, man. I don't know. Fortunately, I have not been in that situation. You can bring up Super Bowl. I think it was 32 that they lost to Denver, but I wasn't a fan at that point.
Yeah.
I was 5, 6 years old. I didn't become a fan really till 9 years old.
Yeah. Same.
So yeah, I'm fortunate that.
Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. You're an asshole.
To Jordan Love.
Exactly. You're going to get what you deserve.
Did you see my tweet a few weeks ago? It was talking about Mason Crosby and about how great he's been in Green Bay or something. And I said, everyone talks about Favre to Rodgers, but no one talks about how we went from Ryan Longwell to Mason Crosby. Ryan Longwell, nowhere near on the level of Mason Crosby, but he was a decent kicker for Green Bay in the Packers Hall of Fame. But you mentioned something I did want to talk about. I can't remember what it was, though. What did you mention? Something about football. I don't remember what.
Clearly. Was it a team or?
Oh, no, I don't, it was something I think that came to my mind. Speaking of 30 for 30s, have you watched the O.J. Simpson one?
Yes.
The 5-part one?
Yeah, very good.
What's your takeaway?
What do you mean?
Did he do it?
Of course he did it. He admitted that he did it. What do you mean?
Well, he didn't. He hasn't admitted it, like, verbatim.
He
But
wrote
if I did it, he like might as well. Yeah, that's a confession.
Yeah.
And like his manager even or agent in the documentary even said, "Oh, he did it." Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't get him now. He's fine. Everybody knows he did it, and he got away with it the first time. You don't have to get away with it twice.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunate. You can't. I don't think you can try him again. Period. Unless you have unless you have new evidence. I think double jeopardy goes out the case if you have new evidence, does it not?
That would be a good question for a lawyer.
I could be totally wrong on that, but I think that's the case about something.
That makes sense. That would make sense.
It may not be like if you're acquitted. If you're acquitted, that's it. Maybe. Yeah. But it might be like maybe you had a hung jury or something, and you had to let him go. You could try him again regardless if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I think double jeopardy goes out the window if you have something new.
Well, I think he's good. He's all set.
Well, they won't know for sure. They had that's the thing. Like you can't even bring up DNA because they had DNA back then. It was new. Like that's really what did it end.
Dude, he's literally been to prison for like 5 years for a completely.
Well, he's out now. You know that, right?
No, I know. He's been out. He's been out for like a few years now.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
Yeah.
Hilarious. I don't.
Dude, fucking hilarious.
Oh God, I can't stand him.
He's crazy.
But yeah, if DNA wasn't new, I think he would have been locked up. He would be locked up.
Probably.
DNA was new back then. They kind of touch up on that.
Yeah.
No one really knew what it was.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got going on? I'm looking at some headlines here. There's not much going on. Saquon Barkley.
It's dead season.
It is dead season.
We got to at least get some preseason games and some injuries in. So we have.
We do have two. I mean, we talked about Carson Wentz already, but Quentin Nelson is another big one. Same injury, about 5 to 12 weeks. I mean, without those two, I don't see a playoff berth. I really don't.
No, absolutely not. And dude, I'm telling you, Carson Wentz isn't going to play well without a camp. Like if he had a good camp and all that stuff, I think he'd be fine. But him just rehabbing again, like he's not going to play well because he's the type that wants to go out there and score a touchdown in the first play, and he's just going to overcompensate. It's not going to be pretty. I'm going to tell you right now. I think he'll settle down. I think he'll be good there next year, but this isn't going to be his year. He's going to be in a bad spot because of his foot. I'm sure.
Is there a team that you're starting to like more than you did at the end of last season?
That's a good question.
And vice versa, is there a team that you like that you're not crazy about the closer we get to the season?
I think I do have to go. The Vikings, I think, are going to be better than a lot of people think. I know we've already talked about this, and I know a couple people have them pegged as a football or as a playoff team already. But like, I think they have the potential. I don't think they will, but to win that division, I think they could easily go like 12-5. I don't think they will. They're probably more of like a 10-7 team, but I can definitely see that. And another team that I think people think is going to be good that isn't is going to be the Skins or the football team.
No, I agree.
I don't really think they got better, and like people forget, dude, they only went 7-9 last year. I mean, they weren't like some fantastic.
I think they got better. They added some weapons and Fitzmagic. I mean, it's better than what they had.
Fitzmagic could easily go out there and throw like 30 touchdowns this year, but like history tells us he's going to have a terrible season. That's what's going to happen. I mean, he'll have great games and he'll have absolute stinkers. And he's not the type of quarterback that you want for the way they want to run a team right now. If they're like they want a game manager, and that's not Ryan Fitzpatrick, whether people want to admit that or not. He's not going to go out there and not turn the ball over and make the safe play, live the punt. Like, that's not how he plays. Like, he's a gunslinger, and when it's working for him, it's working for him. But
that's a good way to describe him. He's a gunslinger. And when it's working, he's good. But when
really
it's
good.
not,
but when it's not working,
yeah, he's not that good.
He can easily have one of those 3, 4, 5 pick games. Like we've all seen it before a bunch of times. And I don't think they might win 1 or 2 more games than last year. But like I actually think Dallas is going to run away with the division. They're probably going to win it by like 3 or 4 games because the Giants. I don't care. People thought that. The Giants,
no, look. You have brought this up. I think you've mentioned this. Let's not give the Giants credit for finishing 6-10 and being like better than what we thought.
Yeah, they're
they were still 6-10,
and they're still not good.
Well, I know of a better way to phrase that. Let's not give the Giants credit for almost winning the division last year.
Yeah, it was a bad division.
At 6-10.
Yeah, would have been the first team ever.
Like I've seen some, and my friend William is one of them, who's like, "Watch out for the Giants," and I'm like, "Dude, you were 6-10."
Yeah, no, and I just don't think they really got better. I mean, I think they have good players on offense, not great. Like I think
they're banking on Daniel Jones, and I just don't. I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones.
And with a bad O-line,
yeah,
that's the thing. I think you can make a legitimate argument. Those are. I wouldn't even say it's an argument. It's a guarantee. It's 2 of the 3 best, or like most important sections of your football team.
It's top 2, but not 1.
Well, I mean, it's quarterbacks 1, D-line's 2, O-line's 3.
I think O-line's 2, but yeah.
And it could easily that can be your philosophy. D-line or O-line is 2. Like they're bad at both of those positions. Not average, not below average. Like legitimately bad at those. Daniel Jones actually is not bad, but he turns the ball over way too much.
Yeah, I mean, he showed flashes last year.
Well, I'm saying he's athletic and he has a good arm, but like it's just a perfect example of like that's not all you need to be a good quarterback in the NFL. In fact, it's probably some of the lesser important things.
His issue, I don't think, is lack of weapons. His issue is reading the field.
And he has bad offensive line that I think makes him see ghosts. I think that's why he fumbles a lot because he doesn't know where the pocket is at certain times. There's no consistency as far as that goes. Their defense, they don't have a good defensive line.
I disagree. It's a pretty good interior.
Okay. Well,
no pass rush, though. I agree. No pass rush.
It's a very easy block, though. Like, Leonard Williams isn't going to take over a game on you. You can just put a center and a guard.
Well, they also have the other dude from Clemson. Dexter Lawrence is pretty good. They did lose Dalvin Tomlinson, but
I mean, their defensive ends, like, they don't have anybody. They drafted that one guy second round. Like,
no, I know, for sure. Pass rush stinks.
They're just, and there you go. So their top 3 units suck. Like, you're not going to be good because you have some good
see, I think defensive line, like, I consider that, it's not that I don't consider it important. You got to have a good D-line, but I think it's more important to have a good pass rush. If you have just 2 dudes who can get after the passer,
I agree.
That's trouble. If you have 4 dudes, fantastic. But if you're good in the interior and you can't get after the passer, that's all for nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's what the Giants are.
What it's going to be.
And I think they drafted Azeez Ojulari in the second round, who, I mean,
they did.
I always thought was kind of a project coming out.
It could, and I think that's what he's going to be, and they're going to be expecting like 7 or 8 sacks out of him, and I don't see that happening.
I don't either. And then, honestly, I thought their defense overperformed last year. And I made note of that, I think, on my blog.
I just don't think – I think they're a time bomb with their coach. I don't think he's a very good, like, people person.
Maybe.
Type of guy. Like, I'll tell you right now, that rah-rah shit will get old in, like, 3 seasons. And if they're not good yet, like, it'll –
Same with who's the dude at Detroit? Dan Campbell, isn't it?
Dan Campbell.
I think that shit's going to get old quick.
When they're bad for 2 or 3 years, it's going to be like, all right, dude, like, we're not good. So this, like, tough guy shit isn't impressive. Like, and that's going to be the Giants. I'm telling you right now, because Dave Gettleman is a terrible GM, and he makes bad picks and bad personnel decisions. He gives out terrible contracts. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see the Giants really doing anything. If they won more than if they finished above 500, I'd be pretty surprised.
I can almost guarantee you they won't. And if you told me they came in last in that division, I believe
no.
I would pick that.
I was going through. I sent you my division breakdown, my first draft of division breakdowns Saturday, and I almost had the Eagles finishing third and the Giants finishing last.
It's
going to be tight.
That's how it'll be. I think it'll be like really close, but the Eagles will still probably come in last. I think the Eagles are going to win 6 or 7 games.
I think I had 5, but 6 is fair. What do you think of Sirianni? Honestly, the closer we get to the season.
I didn't know, but like apparently he's running a really good camp, very vocal. I mean,
There was a video of him at a press conference at training camp. I cannot remember what he said, but it was just so kind of bizarre. Like,
I mean, I can tell you right now, all the stuff outside of like calling plays in a game, I really like so far. Like, so if he can play call, which we don't know, we'll see. I mean, I got to see what his offense.
I mean, if Frank Reich thinks highly of him,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, what the thing is, he specializes in quarterbacks and wide receivers. Like, that's what we need the most help with on offense. He's out there really coaching the wide receivers hands on very hard. I think we'll finally get some production in that area. We'll see. I mean, he won't answer the who's the starter question, and it's because of Deshaun Watson. Period. There's no other reason to do it. It's not like he's starting Joe Flacco or Nick
I saw
Mullins.
he was back at practice today for Houston.
It's because he doesn't want to be the dickhead when they make that trade.
Well, did he miss all of last week? I saw it like he was Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, apparently when they started doing team stuff, he sat out.
I don't know. I mean, like Rodgers, you got no leverage, dude.
No, he doesn't.
So, and I do think Houston is honestly trying to get rid of him after the whole sexual misconduct, not violation, but whatever it was.
They're trying to wash their hands
for sure. But that's a team too. Everyone has pegged, even with Deshaun Watson, as being the worst team in the league, which you're not wrong, but I don't think they're going to be quite as bad as last year. I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 4-12. They didn't make a really good head coaching hire. They didn't really get much better either. But when you have Deshaun Watson,
he had a fantastic season last year. They won 4 games.
You're right.
It's not going to be enough.
But they were in some of those games.
I agree because Deshaun Watson's so good.
True.
That's it.
And that's why and don't get me wrong, you can only get so far on that.
That roster's bad, man.
For sure. But I think I might have had 5, but it could be 6. I wouldn't be shocked.
Bro, you could throw Rodgers, Mahomes on that team. I still don't see him winning more than like 6 games.
I don't either.
So
I mean, maybe 7, but yeah.
Very bad roster.
I agree, for sure. Just reminds me of that 2018 Green Bay team. Like, we always said for a while, as long as you got Rodgers, nothing else matters. Until 2018, when he was healthy basically the entire year, and this team still finished with a losing record.
Dude, you see Mahomes, like, you think Mahomes...
And you know how many games Green Bay won that year?
Not many, because Brent Hundley played, didn't he?
That was the previous year. But it was 6. With a healthy Rodgers and a bad roster, it was 6. They won 6 games. Finished 6-9-1.
That's not very good.
So I would say that's probably the best. Well, one was a tie, and they should have won that game. So let's call it 7. That's not out of the realm of possibility, especially with an extra game with Houston and Deshaun Watson. Granted, that roster in Houston is, I think, much worse than what Green Bay had that year. But I'm trying to think of my teams now. You've kind of talked me into the Vikings. You have. I will give you some credit. And, I mean, I thought they had a pretty good offseason in general. They signed Dalvin Tomlinson. I think they signed somebody else that was pretty
Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, Patrick Peterson. And then they drafted Christian Darrisaw. I mean, that's easy. And that was one of the things I told you, James. You were like, Vikings are going to be good. And I was like, they got a bad O-line. You said they have Darrisaw. Okay, well, he'll probably pick it up later in the year.
And I still don't think they're going to have a good O-line, but I mean, do I think it's going to like wreck games for them? I think it is going to be a hindrance. I think they could legitimately be with even like a top 15 O-line, a top 10 offense in the NFL easily with all those weapons, but now they're probably.
I mean, that wasn't their problem last year. They could score with anyone just about last year.
Exactly.
They couldn't stop anyone.
Which I don't expect to be the case again. Like, that's just not.
I don't either. Well, I mean, I think they improved. But Danielle Hunter should be healthy. He wasn't healthy basically all of last year. They signed Dalvin Tomlinson. I don't expect Patrick Peterson to be any good. He wasn't very good last year.
He still has some juice left.
Probably.
If he's not asked to play the number 1 corner, man-to-man every play, like, I think he has more than enough left.
Well, that's the thing. Who are the Vikings going to put out there on the number 1 receiver?
Rhodes, right?
Rhodes is in Indy.
Oh, shit. Who is that? They have another corner, don't they? Oh. Well, there you go.
They did. I think they brought back Mackenzie Alexander, but he's more of a slot guy, slot corner. So I mean, you're not going to stop Devontae Adams. Likely you're not. Granted, they did beat Green Bay last year in
They have
Lambeau.
a good D-line, good linebackers, a good safety.
They'll be better defensively. How much better, I don't know. But I mean, they were 7-9, almost 500, as bad as they were defensively. So they should be all right. So you've talked me into that. A team that I'm pushing off of. I don't want to say Pittsburgh, but because I wasn't really sold on them anyway this year.
They're going to be pretty average, man. I think I see them being like.
I think they could be really bad.
Well, I wouldn't say really bad.
No, I don't know about really bad, but like 7-10, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. I just don't think they have the firepower on offense anymore, and the O line's bad. On top
I guess the Colts, as a cop out, I guess the Colts are the team I'm backing off.
No, because I think you could legitimately say that even with Wentz being healthy, if Quentin Nelson's out. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. It's not just the quarterback got.
Well, I just meant I've already talked about them. Not so much of recent events with them, but I've already talked, and I was going to have them as a playoff team. Now I'm thinking otherwise. Another team, to stay on this, another team I'm starting to lose interest in is the Miami Dolphins. A little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit.
That's good for the Eagles, baby.
Why is that? Oh, first round pick.
Their draft pick.
Yeah, I mean they were 10 and 6 last year.
I think they overperformed though.
Probably a little bit. But Tua, I mean, we don't really know what we're getting in Tua, honestly. I do think they
he'll
improved.
be okay, but he's not going to be great.
I'm not sure either. We'll see if he's great. I mean, awesome. I like Tua, and I like the Dolphins. I want the Dolphins to be good. I don't know why. I just do. But I think we're expecting a lot of Tua, and I'm just not sure he'll deliver. I mean, when he was in last year, granted as a rookie, but the team wasn't nearly as good with him.
No, I mean his stats weren't terrible when you look at him, but if you watched any of it, he wasn't really throwing the ball, man. He just wasn't.
Yeah, it could be bad.
Yeah,
bad like the Steelers, but I think he's going to be good enough to get them to a playoff spot.
Yeah, fair.
But a team that did I send you that video of Justin Herbert in practice? Throwing on the run, throwing a dime from like 60 yards out. Granted, like, there wasn't anyone else on the field. But
he's what Carson Wentz should have been. That's him.
I watched that. I was like, jeez, were we way off on this guy.
Dude, he runs a 4.6 on top of that. Like, he's an athlete. He's a freak athlete, dude. Like, he's a big boy.
I'm not saying that he's going to have a sophomore slump season, but I don't think it's impossible. But I also wouldn't be shocked if this team, I don't think they'll win the division, but if they are like a 12-win wild card team.
Of course, I think he can realistically take a step back in terms of production, but like I think he'll be just as good as he was last year, if not better. I mean, he just had a really good statistical season, especially for a rookie. It might be hard for him to throw, almost 40 touchdowns this year. That's really the only way he can improve on last year. But do I think he's going to – I mean, he might throw a lot of picks this year. Like, I'm sure he'll have, like, 15 picks or so, but, like, who cares? Because I guarantee he's going to throw –
They should still win. I mean, I'm expecting him to get better.
Above 500. They should go 9-8, I think.
Oh, no. I think I said 11-6 in my –
Really?
Yeah. That's a good roster, man.
Yeah, it is.
The Chargers – and granted, we don't really know what we're getting in Brandon Staley, but
yeah,
that's a really good roster. Good. I mean, not a good O-line, we'll see, but they've made strides on the O-line.
Good players, I think.
Good pass rush, pretty good secondary. If Herbert can be as good as he was last year, Brandon Staley comes in, the coaching can't get any worse than it was last year.
Exactly.
So, Chargers should win about 10 or 11 games, I think.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah, I think that's kind of all we got. Not much else going on.
Did
you watch any of the Olympics?
No, fuck the Olympics.
I didn't either.
Not a fan.
I didn't pay attention at all, and then we finished. And I saw some people, freak out. USA kind of underperformed, and then we still ended up with the most gold medals and the most total medals.
Yeah, dominate, baby, USA.
And then people were like, "Woo, let's go!" I was like, "That's my fucking expectation in the Summer Olympics."
Yeah. Nah,
maybe not in the winter, but in the summer, yeah.
Yeah, we should dominate, of course.
I think that's it. You watched a little bit of the NBA. Did you watch the finals at all?
Hell yeah. Love the Bucks winning. It was awesome.
Yeah, I
Love Giannis.
that was like the first finals in a while where I was really into it. Not really into it, but I actually wanted to watch games.
Yeah, because nobody knew what was going to happen. It was awesome.
You know what? Because I'm tired of seeing the Warriors and LeBron and whoever else in the finals.
Me too.
So yeah, I was like, oh, Phoenix? Milwaukee? Let's do this. I'm into
Small
that.
market teams. Let's go. Fuck yeah. I love
Phoenix
it.
isn't really small market, but Milwaukee, yeah.
I mean, in the NBA, it is.
True.
The Suns are definitely a small
I thought the Suns were going to win that. They went up 2-0.
No, so did I. Giannis is that boy.
Giannis is good, man.
Yeah, he is.
He's really good. I'm happy I'm just being a former Wisconsin resident. I'm happy for the state of Wisconsin with that.
Yeah,
they deserve it.
Yeah, they needed one.
I saw someone tweet, if you had told me in 2011 that the Milwaukee Bucks would win a championship before the Green Bay Packers, I would have said you were out of your mind.
Damn. Think about that for a second.
Yeah. And I was like, shh, man. Make me feel worse.
Been a decade, man. Where's it at?
It's not here, and it's likely not going to get here. I mean, I'm just saying it like it is. I mean, this is our last dance. I really do think that.
You got a shot to win it this year.
We do, but it's to the point now where, like, if we can we just not play the NFC Championship? Can we skip it and just go straight to the Super Bowl?
You gotta get through it.
Just PTSD, and I don't know. We'll see. This team should still win about 12 games.
Maybe more.
I think we will win, but I think 12 maybe at a minimum, depending on injuries. But it's just one of those deals. Like, I'm excited, but I'm cautious.
No,
like for WVU, I'm cautiously optimistic.
I can
But
tell you right now,
but Green Bay, like, yeah,
Shane,
we should
I
be
know
good.
the Eagles are gonna suck this year, and it's the most relieving.
I'm ready for to watch some football, watch Green Bay win some games at least. But I'm also like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is likely the last dance, and we're not gonna probably win the Super Bowl.
Next season is going to be refreshingly awesome for you. I'm telling you, because when you don't have high expectations going into a season, which you probably had every year because of Aaron Rodgers for the last 15 years, like it's actually awesome.
The last
You can
time
just
I
enjoy,
really didn't have expectations was that first year with LaFleur. I didn't know what to expect. I figured we'd be good.
Great. I love it.
And honest to goodness, that's one of the funnest. Last year was fun, but I don't know why 2019 was more fun because it was like Pack was back. We overachieved.
Yep.
You know, it was just fun. And then last year was fun because oh shit, we have a real like
Shot it.
legitimate chance of winning this thing, and then we blew it.
All right, buddy.
All right, I'll see you later.
Take it easy, man.
Later.